go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the Munster fam before we get started. What's up, Munsters? Welcome back to my channel. It's been 467 years, but I'm back at last. So this past week was E3, the Christmas of video games, and so today I want to take some time to talk about the highs and the lows of everything that went on at E3. So let's start from the bottom and work our way up. In my opinion, the worst overall presentation was Ubisoft. Ubisoft was like not prepared for E3 this year. They came out with hardly anything to show, and it was just a laughing stock for me. Even though Watch Dogs Legions, or whatever it's called, looks like an interesting concept, nothing that Ubisoft ever brings really interests me, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but that's just my opinion. So we're not going to spend any more time talking about Ubisoft. Let's keep moving up the ladder. Next up for me personally is Bethesda. So Bethesda, again, besides yeah in the audience, had really nothing to show. They didn't come prepared with Elder Scrolls 6. They didn't come prepared with their outer space title. And you know, personally, I feel like if you're going to announce something like they did last year, then the following year you need to have something to show for that, whether that's a cinematic trailer, whether that's a tease of gameplay, whether that's an official something. There's gotta be something. So they definitely announced both of those titles way too early, and they came to E3 unprepared. I will say though, during the Bethesda conference, Ghostwire Tokyo was announced, and that sounds really interesting to me. I really like the concept of like a horror game that's kind of like a FPS and non-traditional, and so I'm really interested in Ghostwire Tokyo.
It's spooky.
They also announced a game called Deathloop, and although I'm not an FPS fan, but this game really intrigues me, just the story and the concept of two people whose fate is kind of interwoven, one trying to end the cycle of the other and one trying to escape the cycle of the other. So I think that's a really interesting concept. So for me, the only standouts from Bethesda would be Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop. Next up would be Microsoft. So I'm not an Xbox player, and I've only ever owned the Xbox 360, so by default I'm not a huge Microsoft fan, but it's one of the conferences that I do watch every year. I watched every conference, actually. I didn't miss any of them. I was able to watch all of them live, so that was really cool. For Microsoft, I really didn't have an interest in any of their exclusives, and to be quite honest, I don't really feel like they brought a whole lot of exclusives or talked about a lot of exclusives. They did announce Phantasy Star Online 2, which was insane, and at first they announced that it was going to be Xbox exclusive, but since the announcement of that, within the last 24 hours, it was confirmed that Phantasy Star 2 Online is coming to the Switch and PS4, and I'm so excited because I really wanted to play that game. They also managed to announce Tales of Arise, which is like...
It looks so beautiful.
And I'm so excited. I'm a huge Tales of fan, you guys know that. So Tales of Arise, really excited with the direction they're taking that game from first impressions. They're going back to that more watercolor, bold, cel-shaded kind of look, and it's got that rich and vibrant environment, and they're getting away from those terrible character models that were in Xillia and Berseria, and I just was not a fan of how Tales has been going for the last couple of years. So they told us that it's going to be a relaunching of the series, a reimagining, kind of going back to the roots, and I'm like, yes,
Praise the Lord.
that's the best thing that the Tales of series could do. The other standout for me for Microsoft was the announcement of Elden Ring. So a while ago, George R.R. Martin, who's the author of the Game of Thrones books, if you didn't know that, announced that there was going to be a game in the universe of Game of Thrones, and that he had reached out to a Japanese game developer, which then was revealed to be From Software, which is an amazing match. That is just the perfect pick for Game of Thrones. And this one, I believe, from my understanding, is based off of Song of Ice and Fire, I want to say. So I'm super excited to see more about Elden Ring, and I think that's really exciting. Of course, I've never been a Halo player. My cousin played Halo growing up, so I'm very familiar with the series despite not playing it. So I'm not immediately overwhelmingly excited about the new one. However, I was really excited to see that they did talk about it, and I'm excited for fans of Halo because I know that that's a really big moment. So keep on moving up the ladder. We have Square Enix. So Square's conference was pretty solid. They opened up with Final Fantasy VII Remake, and there are no words for how beautiful, how amazing, how incredible that game looks. Final Fantasy VII Remake looks so freaking good. I wish they would have just kept playing it and kept showing more and more and more. I'm not super opposed to the episode idea. It all matters on how it actually is implemented, but from the sound of it, it sounds like we're gonna get a lot of content in this first launch in March. And of course, they showed off Tifa, my woman, my lady. That was like one of my first female video game crushes ever. And so seeing her in glorious HD, she is still just as beautiful as she was in that pixel art back in the 90s. They showed more about Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which I love. That's a game from my childhood that I just treasure. And then they showed off Avengers, and I have very mixed feelings about this new Avengers title. I am never going to compare the game to the MCU. I don't want it to be the MCU. I don't want a movie-based title, so I know a lot of people are saying, well, they don't sound like the movie, they don't look like the movie. They're not supposed to be. These characters have a history way longer than the MCU, and although the MCU made these characters popular, it's not all they ever are meant to be. It's not all they ever were. So I'm not upset about that at all. What I am upset about is that the models look just not done very well, and I'm not convinced yet. I'm just not convinced yet. I do like the idea that they're going to continue to add more to it for free. That's really awesome. No loot boxes, hallelujah. But then some footage from E3 leaked, and somebody had recorded about 10 minutes of the footage. I didn't get the chance to see it by the time it was already taken down, but I heard there's just nobody's really impressed yet. So for me, that wasn't like a big deal. That wasn't like a big thing. Yeah, I was eagerly anticipating it, but it didn't fully whet my appetite. And then the big dog, Nintendo. Nintendo closed out E3, and as Nintendo always does, they absolutely stole the show. So they kicked things off with new gameplay for Luigi's Mansion 3, which looks absolutely incredible. I am so excited for Luigi's Mansion 3. I love how the game looks. I love the setting being in the hotel, and that each floor is kind of a different theme and a different setting. It is just looking gorgeous, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. So excited that they are still keeping it as a 2019 release. So I'm really anticipating Luigi's Mansion 3. Of course, I said they opened with Luigi's Mansion 3. They didn't. They opened with a announcement trailer, the reveal trailer for the hero from Dragon Quest. As a avid Dragon Quest player, I was so excited to see, after all the leaks that were only pointing towards Erdrick, to see the Luminary from Dragon Quest XI just absolutely excited me and blew my mind. And then that glorious moment that red bandana hero dropped down from the sky, I squealed like a little girl, because Dragon Quest VIII was my very first Dragon Quest game, believe it or not, and I absolutely have a special place in my heart for that game. So seeing that not only the Luminary from Dragon Quest XI, which is an amazing title, made the cut, but also Erdrick, who was leaked, the hero from Dragon Quest VIII, and I want to say it's the hero from Dragon Quest IV, but I'm probably wrong, so you can correct me in the comments. But I'm super excited about that. Couldn't be more excited. I think that was just the most brilliant way to celebrate Dragon Quest and the history that series has with Nintendo. So well done, Sakurai. Beautiful choice. The presentation went on to show more about Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, which looks crazy good. I'm so excited about that game. Can't believe the X-Men made it. Can't believe my girl Psylocke made it. That's my ninja girlfriend, and I'm just really excited to get my hands on that game. I saw those words, Nook Incorporated, and I just screamed and leapt out of my seat, because they announced Animal Crossing New Horizons. We knew it was coming, we knew it was happening, but seeing it and seeing the island setting and the crafting mechanics, it just makes me so excited. I didn't know how they could have possibly kept the feel of Animal Crossing, but changed the way in the presentation and the way that it was, make it feel different, make it feel new. But this is the most brilliant way to do it, and I can't believe I didn't think of it first about the island setting, but this is just an amazing title. Of course, they did delay it. They had originally told us it was coming this year, but Nintendo announced that they want to really prioritize the health of a healthy work and life balance with their game developers, and I applaud you, Nintendo. I think that's so wonderful, and I hope that starts a new attitude in the game industry to really, at the end of the day, remember that these are human beings too, and we don't want to work them to death who put so much time and effort into what they're doing just so we can get a title faster. In fact, I see delays as a good thing. I always have seen delays as a good sign that the game is being worked on, the game is getting the attention that it really needs, and it's taking the time to make that happen. Then they showed more about Fire Emblem Three Houses. They announced that there's going to be a time skip, and that ultimately all three of these houses are going to be against each other, and there's going to be this great calamity and this war that breaks out among childhood friends. And I think that really puts a new emphasis on the game, that it's not just this Hogwarts school training persona, but in fact that is just a minor part of it. But I think it's this big grand story that tells these friends and they're falling out, and I think it's going to really pull on the heartstrings. So I'm super excited about that and couldn't be more excited for Fire Emblem Three Houses, which we get so soon. They also showed off Link's Awakening, which looks so freaking adorable, you guys. I cannot wait to get this, and they announced that it was going to be coming out September 20th, and I'm really excited for this game. I think it looks adorable. I know that it's gotten some criticism for the way it's been done, the way it's presented at this like little diorama kind of thing, but I love it. I think it's a great aesthetic, and I would love to see more Zelda games like this. And I honestly, somebody on Twitter said they should make Earthbound, remaster Earthbound or remake Earthbound in this aesthetic, and I couldn't agree more. I think it's perfect. So I'm so excited for Link's Awakening. And then, of course, they went on to reveal Banjo freaking Kazooie, and I literally fell out in the chair. I'm so excited about that. We didn't think it was going to happen. We didn't think it was possible. And Sakurai continues to prove that the impossible is possible. He makes all things happen for our favor.
He is sitting at the right hand of God.
And I just think this is such an amazing thing. The Dragon Quest fans are so happy. The Banjo-Kazooie fans are so happy. This Fighter Pass is just absolutely blowing my mind. And they continue to go on from there to close out their direct by announcing Breath of the Wild frickin' 2. Now, I'm not a huge Breath of the Wild fan. I actually just got back into it yesterday, and I'm really trying to find a new love for it and a new passion for it, because it's like the only Zelda that I haven't finished, and I hate that I haven't connected with it like I have the others. So I'm really trying to give it a second chance and get back into it. Nonetheless, a new Zelda game is a new Zelda game, and I'm so excited to see that and how I watch fans react to this. Eiji Aonuma announced that this one is going to be darker than Majora's Mask, and my mouth just dropped upon hearing that, because Majora's Mask is one of my favorite Zeldas because it's so freaking weird and dark and twisted and creepy in all the right ways. So to have a game you're boldly saying it's going to be way more than that, bring it on. I'm so ready. So all in all, E3 was collectively a little bit disappointing. There were standouts from a couple of the companies, but Nintendo absolutely knocked it out of the park. Everything about what they had to say and what they had to bring was just perfect. Well guys, thank you so much for coming back to my channel after all this time away. It has been a very long time, and I really needed it. I feel much more passionate as the summer is coming back in, and I can just get out and make new content and create new things, and I'm very thankful for my Munster fam for sticking around and believing that I would come back and make more videos, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, join the Munster fam. You can do that right down below. Hit that red subscribe button. You can hit the bell icon so that anytime I upload, you will know, and you will get a text, you will get a notification that I have uploaded a new video. And until next time, guys, I love y'all so much, and I will see you really, really soon.